imagine this. It's the 80s. I grew up in a Plattenbau, one of those gray concrete housing blocks on the edge of a German city. The hallway smelled of cooking from every corner around the world. Turkish spices, Polish soups, German sausages. The playgrounds were full of kids, racing, fighting, laughing, dreaming. We had nothing material. But we had something else. We had love. We had belonging. We had hope. We had commitment. And above all, we had disbelief. If we would work hard, if we studied hard, if we never gave up, one day we would make it. That was our wealth. Not in money, but in faith. And then, summer. The smell of tar and cut grass, the sound of the ice cream truck, kids in neon shorts, Michael Jackson t-shirts, coins jingling in their pocket, and the kings of the neighborhood flying down the street with their shiny BMX bikes. And me, I stood still, watching, wishing, wanting. So I went to my father. Dad, can I have a bike, please? Like the other kids? He looked at me, his hands black from welding, tired face, but eyes full of love and energy. So you have to know, my father hadn't the chance to go to university. He didn't even finish high school, but he was proud. So proud of his job as a welder at Mercedes. Let me think about it. So he didn't say no. I had hope. The next day, my father said, "Come, son, let's go to the basement. Look what I have for you." The basement was dark, smelled of oil and dust, a single bulb swinging from the ceiling. And there it was, a rusty woman's bike with a basket in the front. My heart sank. I mean, a 10-year-old boy in the 80s with a lady's bike, come on, that was social suicide. But Dad, it's a girl's bike. And his voice cracked. He said, "Son, I wish I could give you more, but this is what I can give you today." In that moment, I realized my pain became his pain. And I loved him too much to show him my tears. So I forced a smile. I said, "Okay, Dad, let's talk about it tomorrow." But that night, I cried myself to sleep. But deep down, I knew this man, my father, was the only man who wanted me to be better than him. He wanted me, lift me higher. He wanted the best for me. So the next day, my dad wasn't finished. Again, in the basement. He looked at that rusty bike, then at me, and with a quiet smile, he said, "Son, let's make it yours." And that was the moment That was the moment of co-creation. That was the spark. Not in welding steel, but in welding mindsets. His mindset, fighter, worker. My mindset, creator, believer. And when those mindsets, both of them came together, we broke the mold. Now you have to know, my father loved these American movies on TV, Easy Rider, Harley choppers, freedom on the open road. And somehow, we decided to build our own version of freedom. We sawed off the fork. We welded steel rods. Sparks flying, the smell of metal in the air. Day after day, after work, after school, until the ugly lady's bike became our own bonanza chopper. Our own version of freedom, right there in that tiny basement. I didn't feel poor. I didn't feel different. I felt unstoppable. I bet you are dying to know what that bike looked like, right? Do you want to see it? Yes! All right. This is me on that bike. Yeah. How do you like the color? Huh? Yeah, that's me, full of joy, laughing. Yeah. I mean, when I see that picture, I just realize that I still have the same haircut since then, yeah? And no helmet, yeah? The 80s, I survived. When I rode it to school, I didn't just arrive. I arrived with joy, with pride, with something that was truly mine. I asked the kids, who wants to ride it? Who wants to ride it? One round around the schoolyard for 2 Deutschmarks. Back then, a price about a break time snack. My first business model. And you know what? They all lined up. They all lined up. Even the teachers. And they paid. Not just for the bike, but to feel that mindset. To be part of that mindset. They wanted to feel how it is to break the mold. After a week, I carried a heavy bag full of coins, heavy, clinking, my first money. But the true treasure wasn't in the bag. It was in the realization. I remembered my father's word. Let's make it yours. And I understood. Whatever life puts in front of you, you can always transform it. You can always make it yours. And it's that mindset. That mindset was the engine of my life. I only got a recommendation for the lowest school, Hauptschule. But I made it to university. I earned a PhD. I went to Harvard Business School. I founded 8 companies. And today, I'm running a multi-million-dollar business. Not because I had the best start, but I always remembered, let's make it yours. Today, again, a basement moment. but for all of us, it's called artificial intelligence. We are at the frontier of this disruptive innovation. You see, humanity has invented technologies that boosted our physical capabilities. But we have never invented a technology that can boost our intelligence, artificial intelligence, the revolution of the mind. Some people are afraid of it. Some people think it will replace us. But what if we see AI as raw material, just like that rusty bike? Not finished, not perfect, but full of possibilities. If we see AI as co-intelligence and we combine it with our human mindset, we can break the mold. A mindset that I call sense for opportunities. 35 years later, I'm a father myself. My son is 9 years old. This Valentine's Day, he wanted to write a letter to his crush. He asked me for a pen and a paper. And a few moments later, he returned with a note, so thoughtful, so warm. I wouldn't expect this from a child at his age. I discovered his secret. He hadn't written alone. He silently opened up an AI tool, poured in his feelings, asked the machine to shape his words. And it's exactly that mindset that can turn anyone here into a thought millionaire. So in the end, whatever life puts you as a challenge in front of you, don't let it define you. Transform it. Make it yours. The greatest thing in life isn't the thing. It isn't technology. It's mindset. Upgrade your mindset. I feel confident. What about you? Welcome to tomorrow. The future's here. Thank you.